Hey everyone, it's Stephanie, and you are tuned into the review of Married at First Sight, Season 8, Episode 4. So this week we got to see the couples finally get some alone time. The wedding is over, the reception is over, they spend their first night together, we watch them wake up, they go on their honeymoon, and we begin to see the first day of marriage. So let's just kick it off with the couples. I'll start off with Kate and Luke. Okay. I'm going to try to keep this short. Kate and Luke are really tough to watch. It's like, I feel like, you know how you get secondhand smoke by somebody smoking around you and you're like, oh, I don't want to get any type of disease. I feel like I get secondhand embarrassment by watching them. Like, it's hard for me to watch their interaction. And it's more so Luke than Kate. You know, Kate is just in there. She's trying to do her best. They're both a little awkward, I'll be honest. You know, their communication is not really fluid like we see the other couples, or a lot of other couples. And it's not just the Married at First Sight thing. I think it's just them, but I think it's more Luke than Kate, because Kate is like, she's trying. She's trying to be open, and she's getting met with this reserved energy. And so she's responding to that. We see Luke continue to be very reserved, continue to be somewhat judgy when you see them with the other couples, and even with her. Like, he pokes fun at her throughout this episode. Something about the toothpaste, something about, you know, drinking 3 cups of coffee and then another one 4 cups, and something else that he says that's like, you know, they're meant to be like little jabs, but over time those will chisel away at her and she'll start to become very self-conscious. You know, I shouldn't have that much coffee. Maybe I should put more toothpaste on the thing. You know, it'll get to be something, because his jabs have like an underlying judgmental tone. Like, why are you doing that? Why isn't that enough? Why do you have to have that much? Why, you know, why? He judges all the other couples. We see that all the couples go to the same honeymoon. I know that, like, we're half and half with this, where some of you guys like that, some of you guys don't. I see the benefit in it because of the supportive environment that it is, but I also see that it can be problematic because, you know, comparison is a thief of joy. So when you are around all these other couples, you start to connect with them, which is great, but you also start to judge yourself against them. So we should be XYZ. Like, we watch Kate say that, like, all the other couples have great chemistry. We should be in that place. I don't like when we should so much. I always tell people, don't should too much to yourself. Otherwise, you'll be shoulding all over yourself, because it really just frustrates us in the place that we believe that we should be, and it keeps us from being present in where we are and working on where we want to be. So we find that, you know, they are all enjoying the same honeymoon as well, but we watch him kind of, you know, to channel back, we watch him kind of jab at her a little bit, and we watch Kate kind of just sit there and be insecure. They go, you know, to this animal park, and even the animal park, I mean, it's not her thing, and that's fine. And these are the things that you could do if you had a traditional marriage where, you know, your spouse at that point would know, hey, she won't want to go to the animal park, or whatever the case may be. But she's being a good sport, because he really wanted to see these sloths. He was so excited. She's asking questions, you know, she's saying stuff, and he literally says, like, you really care about them. And I don't, you know, like, if she was a wife who had known her husband for a long time, she could have said, you know, I don't care about these sloths, because I would have said it. But she said, I'm trying. But it's his tone, his air, there's like an arrogance about him. I don't like it. He comes off several times during this episode saying, you know, I take things slow. I, you know, like to get to know. Listen, I want everybody who cannot, you know, escalate themselves quickly. I want them to stop trying out for this show, and I want them to stop getting picked for this show, because this is not the setup for you. I don't care that you take things slowly. I'm over it, y'all. I was watching this episode and I just was like, I had it, and it's only episode 4. Like, stop trying out for this show as a means to challenge yourself to do something that you're not going to do, that you're not really prepared to do. A lot of people are saying, you know, I am this and I want to be this, so I'm going to use this as a tool to get there. But are you really intentional about your actions in order to get there? If not, if you don't push yourself out of your comfort zone intentionally, then you will revert back to who you are. You know, your habits create who you are. So when you get comfortable, we can all show up with our like interview selves, but when you get stressed out, you will revert back to what's comfortable to you in your dynamic, in your own personality dynamic, and you will do what's normal for you, what's comfortable for you. So it really irritated me that he says, I take things slow. I like to get to know someone. I like to, which in the normal world is perfectly fine, but then don't do this show, because you really take the opportunity, one, from someone who could have, and two, from the person who is giving 100%, who is putting themselves out there 100%. You're taking away their opportunity to be met with someone who would give more than you. So that really irritated me with Luke. I did not like seeing that. What I will say, what I will say about Kate is, I don't like that she kept the, oops, well, I'm going to keep it going. It fell. I don't like that she kept the smoking. I don't like the justification with, oh, it's only social. Smoking is like usually 100% on for people, or 100% off. And so I don't think she should have kept that, because that is something that he said he didn't like, and I totally get that. But other than that, I feel like she was trying the whole time. I will give Kate gold star for asking for what she wants. So I really like that she's taking an initiative. She seems to be very laid back. So I was thinking maybe she's going to be kind of mousy this whole season, but she takes initiative. The first night he says, I'm going to sleep on the couch. And even that first night, they were drinking wine on the couch, and it was super weird and awkward, but that's them right now. And she says, there's a bed, you can sleep on the bed. And I like that she said that, because I'm like, great, ask for what you want, because a lot of times, both men and women, we have these thoughts and we let them fester, and we marinate on them, and we create our own narrative as to what's happening and what it means, and sometimes you just knock it out. And so I like that she said that, because guess what? The result was that he slept in the bed with her, and she initiated that. Now, if he gets to a place where he allows himself to just be, and to just be comfortable with her, and really like build a real connection, that aspect of her personality can really benefit them, because she will kind of challenge him to maybe do things that he isn't always comfortable with, but should be doing or can be doing, and she will like help him to level up, I think. She also did it later on when they had dinner, and they were talking about the things that kind of bugged them, and he mentioned the smoking thing, which I thought was valid. She said, you haven't kissed me. And she brought up that awkward scene that I think we all got secondhand embarrassment from, where, she leaned over when they were clinking the glasses, and, he kind of shut her down. And so she brought that up, and she's basically saying, I'm your wife. I'm like ready where you are. We have the gender role, and I'm jumping around, but we have the gender roles conversation that happens with Will and Jasmine, but I'm watching like almost a role reversal with Kate and Luke in this conversation where, he's being kind of what we identify a woman to be, even though every woman is different, but what, traditionally we'd identify as him being more of the aggressor, and her being more modest and, standoffish and stuff like that. But I love that she said that, like, I'm your wife, like any day now, any day you want to kiss me, hello, it would be nice. Like, and I hate that she has to do that, but I also love that she has the balls to do that. I don't think since I've been watching the show, I've ever seen somebody take initiative that quickly. And I was surprised to see that from her, because she's so chill and she's so, reserved and mousy that I'm like, I don't know if she's going to be able to do that, but she was able to do that. So I love to see that. One last thing with them. If you remember when they're having dinner and they're talking about, two last things. So Luke, throughout the episode, kind of says it's not love at first sight, but I'm excited to see where it goes and take this journey, or it wasn't attraction at first sight. He's giving us clues repeatedly that he's not attracted to her, that he's really not into her, but she's nice. She's a good person, and he's willing to take this journey. He's like saying in so many ways that this is not really who I wanted. This is not who I was expecting, but I'm going to make the best of it. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with her, but if we already, because I've been reading a lot of the comments, we already are well aware that this is not necessarily who he signed up for, but he has verbalized it in a lot of ways that is very obvious to me. So if you guys picked that up, let me know, because I just was like, okay, nobody asked you that. Why do you keep saying that? So it's like, clearly that's subconsciously you're letting us know what you're thinking. Last thing with Kate and Luke, when they have dinner, and they're talking about the smoking, and he says, you know, why? Because she was like, it's just a bad habit, and she starts laughing, and he's laughing, and he's like, well, why do you do it? And she's just like, you know, it's not a big deal. Like, I can totally stop. And he's, you know, she said, we can make each other better, which I thought was great. He does something with his hand, and his hand flashes, his left hand flashes very quickly. And something just stood out to me. I was like, his ring is not on his ring finger. Women could work for the FBI with like no training, because we see things so quickly. Okay, it literally was an instant. And I paused it and I was like, wait a minute, like, did I see what I just saw? So I rewound it and I waited for that again, and then I paused it again. So his wedding band is on his middle finger. Why? Y'all go back and look, because it is. His wedding band is on his middle finger. It's not on his ring finger. I've never seen that before. Like, you know, maybe people kind of do their own thing, but on this show, and traditionally, you don't ever see that. So that was really interesting for me to see. That was really telling. You know, I paused and I looked at it for a long time. Of all the seasons with people like hating each other off rip, I never saw that. And so his experience and his feelings are showing up verbally. They're showing up in what he is not doing physically, and they're showing up in even how he wears his wedding band. And I think nobody's gonna like pick up on that because it happens so quickly. But he for that scene while they were at dinner, he had his wedding band on his middle finger, which was very telling for me. So I don't know. I don't want to like say that it's not gonna work, you know, because I'm hopeful, but I just, you know, I want the people who end up on this show to actually really be with people who want to be with them. And you never know who you're going to end up with. That's the risk. You might end up with someone who's great and it just doesn't work. But I don't even think he's really giving it a shot. I think the moment they open the doors and he's talking to his homeboys, because I don't know, he's not standing in an altar getting married or anything. God forbid you look at the bride. He already picked up on the fact that he knew her, and that was his concern, and he had made his mind up about her, whatever that is. So that's Kate and Luke. We shall see. So Will and Jasmine, we watch Will and Jazz pretty much have a good time throughout the episode. They have really good chemistry. There was one instance where, you know, they woke up together, had a good time. They're relaxing, joking, you know, getting to know each other, different aspects of each other. But they were going on an ATV ride, and we see Jasmine get like easily frustrated, and he's poking at her and he's kind of egging her on, and clearly that doesn't work for her. Some people can trash talk with each other and verbally spar, and it's funny and nobody takes offense to it. I don't think that really works for her, and she started getting frustrated, and then she got stuck, and she was going backwards, and she kept saying, I'm going backwards, and he's kind of sitting there and saying, well, I can't get off the ATV. I don't know how to put it in park. So somebody else had to come help her. And she was really frustrated because she felt like he should have done something. And she basically said, I felt alone. I felt like I wasn't married. And I think that was like a little bit of an overreaction. Like, you can feel like your man should have done more than he did, but I wouldn't go so far as to say I felt like I wasn't married. But when you're emotional and everything's new, and I'm sure they're going through so much in that moment, it's easy to kind of overreact. Luckily, it didn't go further than that. I thought it was going to get worse before it got better, but, you know, it didn't get any worse. I would have hoped to see, and this is where we see like Will's very chill side. Even if you can't get off the ATV, let's say you don't know how to put it in park, like, move, show that you have a pulse. Like, he was just sitting there, and she's like, I'm going backwards. And he's like, I mean, you know, she wants to feel that you're gonna, if she does go backwards, because this is now like a legitimate scenario, that you would jump to help, as a man in general, but as a person and as her husband. Like, here's the thing that she's waiting for, and I think anybody would have wanted that. Like, hello, help, you know, where do I have to wave a white flag? Do something. And even if he couldn't, he should have done something more than what he was doing, because he really did just sit there. And I don't know, my husband would have not just sat there. Like, he would have hopped off or he would have figured something out. He would have gotten up or something. So I don't know. We see Will be very calm and he's saying, I hope she's not mad. And you could see she's like irritated, but they cleaned it up. They got to the top. They looked at a beautiful view. They let the view calm them. They got grounded and then they went back. And all the couples had dinner. We watch all the couples have like pretty good chemistry, interact, get to see each other since before the wedding, have a good time. You know, the only couple that was kind of like mute were Kate and Luke, but that's for now, that's kind of like what Kate and Luke is like. We see AJ and Stephanie, you know, almost be like the it couple. Like everybody's looking at their dynamic and really digging their dynamic. So they end up having a good time. Following up to Will and Jasmine getting to the end of their day and having dinner and discussing gender roles. So Jasmine comes from a very traditional background where she feels like there are specific roles for gender, and she feels like, you know, the man has to be the protector, provider, which means taking on more of the bills. So my belief with gender roles is you fall into the role that you want to. Like, I don't think that everybody has to agree on gender roles. I think we spend so much time arguing with people, you know, internet thugs about what things should and shouldn't be. And really, you need to just be on one accord with your significant other, and that's just it. So whatever gender roles fit you in your spouse, then that works for you guys. But it definitely has to work within the household. So we find that they're kind of like at opposing views, where he's kind of like 50-50, which for her, based on her just being a traditional girl, it sounds like a roommate to her. She is not digging that at all. And he's basically pushing her back on her heels and saying, you know, well, you're an independent woman, and does that mean that you cook every night? And she's like, yeah, I'm okay with that. So I don't think he was expecting her to say that. I think he was challenging her so that she could see this isn't so fun. And she was like, no, I'm okay with that. So we're going to watch them struggle with gender roles because he is not into it. He is like 50-50 for household bills, and we can see him be a little less assertive, you know, with the ATV thing. And she's wanting protector, provider, and someone to really kind of take care of her. And that's what she sees, and that's what she wants to mimic. So it'll be interesting to watch how their dynamic goes, because neither one of them is signing up for what the other one really wants, or how the other one is. But I feel like that's something that really could be worked out. I mean, you really could come to a place of agreement of what a mashup of that gender role will be and what you're willing to accept. So I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. But you know, that's a risk that you take when you sign up for this. There'll be a lot of things that work, a lot of things that don't. And realistically, that's real life anyways. There's a lot of things that works with someone you've known a long time, and you didn't go through an experiment. You did it the traditional way, and there's things that don't work. And, you know, marriage is evolutionary. So there will be constant, you know, chipping away at things, and you'll get some things on autopilot, and there'll always be a tweak of things because life hands us different things. So that is Will and Jasmine. Next we have Keith and Kristine. So Keith and Kristine, I think they had a pretty solid episode as well. The chemistry goes on and on with these two. The chemistry goes on and on. They're having a good time. They're totally into each other. We see them get to the resort in Costa Rica. I really enjoyed Kristine like dragging him into the gym. Because you can tell that Keith is like a macho man. It's like his way, you know? And being raised the way he was with all these loving women, it's probably like his way. Like he can do no wrong. And so she's like, I don't care if you want to go. And it was funny because it wasn't like controlling or demanding, but it was like, come on, let's go. And that's a great example of marriage. Like, it's not always about you. You don't want to go to the gym? We're going to go to the gym right now. We can either go to the gym or go to the gym. But it was fun because they did like a very short little workout, and he doesn't want to do that at all. And here's the reality. You're with somebody who likes to work out. So even if you don't like to work out, there needs to be something that you guys find that you can do actively. Because on the flip side, I'm sure there's certain things that he really likes, and whether she loves it or not, to compromise, she's gonna have to do some things because marriage is compromise. So I like that she was like, we're going to the gym, and she tried to make it fun. And maybe over time he'll pick up on that. He may not, but there'll be things where he'll want her to do, and she may not love it, but she'll end up doing it, and then they'll just roll with it. But I really enjoyed her seeing him like dragged to the gym, and they had even a good time in doing that and joking. What else happened with them? I thought the bathtub scene was super cute. I mean, it was super sensual, but he's saying, he keeps bringing up this cooking thing, and I'm like, I have no issue with it, except it's like, it's getting to be like this demand, this like silent demand, because they're in the bathtub, and you know, they're kissing and having a good time, and he says something like, I'm waiting for this wife to cook, or something like that, which just, enough. We get it. You value a woman that cooks. There's nothing wrong with that, but the constant like waiting for it, like you better, you know, is just, it's starting to get old, because it's just, this is what I expect, and what are you bringing? You know, what are you bringing to the table? You know, you're not even willing, you're demanding that this is what I want. You know, I want you to cook, make me happy, go to work, but you don't even want to go to the gym for like 10 minutes. You know, you're not ready to be married if you're not ready to do some stuff that you just don't want to be bothered doing. You know, watch that boring documentary. Hello, #marriage. Like, you will, but that's what happens. You know, you compromise, you do things, and you'll learn that you like new things and things you didn't think you'd like, or you don't like them, but you love that your spouse enjoys the experience of you doing them together. So that was like a little quirk that like irritated me, but I think I'll probably pick up on that stuff because it irritates me. So, so I will probably pick up on it all the time, but nothing too out of the ordinary for Keith and Kristine. So we'll watch them kind of flow. I'm looking forward to seeing them get back home, because they have such heavy chemistry, and I didn't watch the previews, so if something happened next week, I don't know. But they have such heavy chemistry that I think that in paradise, you know, it's hard to bump heads. I mean, you can. We have seen many a head bumped on these honeymoons, but if they have such good chemistry, they can easily distract themselves with the lust. So when they get back home, it'll be interesting to see. So that is Keith and Kristine. Last but not least, Stephanie and AJ. So Stephanie and AJ, like I said earlier, seem to be like the it couple. They have great chemistry. Listen, I know, because I've been reading the comments, I know AJ is a lot, but you know, he hasn't gotten on my nerves yet. He's so funny to me. Like, I think that he has such a genuine spirit, and he seems like such a genuinely good guy. Sure, the talking would probably, you know, make me want to just lose it at some point, but I'm not there yet, and I think Stephanie isn't there yet, and so it just seems endearing that he's so excited to be married, she's so excited to be married, and that, you know, they're so excited that they actually have sex. So on record, they're the only couple that has consummated their marriage as of yet. So I don't know that I was surprised, because they both seem to be on this, like, I want to be married, I want to do this, I want to, you know, move on. Like, they both seem to be like very specific about wanting this to work. I enjoyed watching them. I still don't get couples vibes from them. So I'm saying all of this, they're a joy to watch. They look happy together, but I don't see couples vibes. I see bestie vibes. I see like somebody who went on a blind date, but it didn't work out, but they had like so much fun, and they're friends for like 25 years. It's something about it, and I'm wanting to know why I feel that way, but the fact that I feel that way so strongly, I'm gonna go ahead and trust that instinct. But if it works out for them, yay, because that's what it's all about. But just from the external perspective, it's hard for me to get a real deep-seated like romantic chemistry from the two of them. I don't know what's missing for me, but all the pomp and circumstance, all the excitement, and I think it's like genuine joy and all that. I still don't get like a true couple swag from them. So that's AJ and Stephanie. I mean, they were fun to watch. They're enjoyable to watch. They seem to be happy. You know, they went snorkeling, I believe. AJ was talking about how he's not in shape, but she is, and he feels comfortable anyways. And that's a big deal, you know, because it's a big deal even when you've known your spouse for a long time, because you always want to be your best self, not only for yourself, but for your spouse, and you want to feel attractive. So if you have things that make you insecure, you know, that's tough for someone you've known, more or less someone who's new. But he was able to say, listen, I'm not in the best shape, and she loves me, or not loves me, but she likes me for me, and I don't feel embarrassed, then that's huge, okay? Because you got to be comfortable with your spouse. So I thought that was cool. But with all that being said, I'm not team AJ and Stephanie, but when I'm thinking about real couples and how sometimes I can look at a couple and see that they have great chemistry, I don't get a couple's chemistry from them. I get a great friendship. But they say that love is friendship set on fire. So who knows? I will remain open. So that's it. Do not forget to subscribe, click like, and comment. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Looking forward to seeing next week and chatting with you guys all throughout the week. Everyone have a great weekend.